Good morning from Peterborough, and today's vlog was meant to be a nice meander up to Edinburgh where we'd board the LNER Highlands Chieftain service in first class up to Inverness. However, today of all days there happens to be a massive storm sweeping across the country with up to 85-mile-an-hour winds. So basically all train operating companies are cancelling services to Scotland other than cross country, and luckily we were actually booked with them from York to Edinburgh, so that was a bit of lucky planning there. But all train services up to Inverness are cancelled from 12 o'clock, so it's going to be an interesting journey. I wasn't going to vlog, but I think it would be good to see what it's like to travel during a storm. So the first train for today will be the 8:18 up to York, and then we'll be catching a cross-country service for the final part up to Edinburgh. From there, I'm not sure what we're going to do. There are a couple of plans, but I'm sure we'll figure that out once we arrive. For now, we're just going to focus on getting to Scotland. So come along, we'll board the train and we'll see how the journey goes. With just an 8-minute connection at Peterborough, we didn't have long to wait before our LNER Azuma pulled into platform 4. Originally a service bound for Edinburgh, this 9-car Class 801 would only be going as far as Newcastle, but as mentioned earlier, we'd be getting off at York, just a short 1 hour and 20-minute hop up the East Coast Main Line. Well, as you can see, we've made it on board the 0818 service, which will take us to York. We actually had tickets for the 10 o'clock service from Peterborough, but the train manager said that we were welcome to come on board because there were so many free seats. Obviously that's people who were going to Edinburgh, but now have had to cancel their journeys because the line is closed north of Newcastle for LNER. So it seems like it's been a good start for this part of the journey, and let's hope that continues on our way up to Inverness. Roughly half an hour later, we pull into Newark Northgate Station. One of 2 railway stations serving the market town of Newark-on-Trent, Northgate was opened in 1852 by the Great Northern Railway and now sees trains from LNER up and down the East Coast Main Line, like ours, as well as a few EMR services to Lincoln. Not long after this, we approached the railway town of Doncaster, a major interchange between no less than 7 train operating companies. These include LNER, Cross Country, EMR, Grand Central, Hull Trains and Northern, running to a wide variety of destinations such as London, Reading, Birmingham, Sheffield, Scarborough, Leeds and Liverpool, to name but a few. Joining the cross-country route from Leeds at Church Fenton, we soon pull into a very grey and rainy York station. Certainly not what you expect during the height of summer. We have made it to York on time, and that is our first train done, and it was quite a nice trip actually. Really quiet because obviously no one is travelling to Edinburgh. We've got about an hour in the station itself now before our cross-country service, which should hopefully take us up to Edinburgh. So we're going to have a look around, find a bite to eat, and just keep our fingers crossed for the rest of the journey. So waving goodbye to our LNER Azuma as it continues its journey up to Newcastle, it was time to have a wander around the ever-impressive station at York. Located 188 miles north of King's Cross, the station dates from 1877 and is now a Grade 2 listed building thanks to its impressive curved train shed, designed by North Eastern Railway architects Thomas Prosser and William Peachey. And looking for a drink, we decided on the Costa Coffee located in the wonderful old signal box, a perfect place to relax and watch the trains go by from this excellent viewpoint. The time is now 10:15 and our train is set to arrive in 15 minutes. I've just checked and it's set to be a 9-carriage cross-country Voyager, so hopefully there's lots of room on board as we don't have a reserved seat for this specific service. So all being well, we'll get a nice seat by a window and we can enjoy some of the views up to Edinburgh. And fingers crossed the rest of the journey goes okay. Bang on time, our 9-carriage cross-country service pulled into the platform bound for Scotland. As previously mentioned, we didn't actually have any reserved seats as we were travelling on off-peak single tickets. However, on longer trains the entirety of Coach H is unreserved, so we headed to the rear of the train to board one of Cross Country's ex-Avanti sets. 12 of these 5-car Class 221s have been introduced over the last few years to bolster Cross Country's fleet, adding a much needed capacity boost to the infamously crowded routes they serve. So it was nice to be able to travel on one for the 2.5-hour journey up to Edinburgh with their recently refurbished interiors. Just 10 minutes after leaving Durham, we approached Newcastle via the famous crossing of the Tyne. Travelling on the East Coast Main Line, our service uses the King Edward VII Bridge, constructed in 1906 and designed by Charles Harrison, the Chief Civil Engineer of the North Eastern Railway. Prior to this, trains entering Newcastle station used the older high-level bridge seen in the distance and had to leave the station in the same direction they entered. However, the completion of the King Edward VII Bridge provided a direct line through the station, easing congestion and giving us this long, sweeping curve as we enter the train shed. With a quick trip to the onboard shop for a cup of tea, we continued our journey north against the increasingly strong winds before approaching the coast at Allenmouth. The station here was originally opened as a junction for the branch to Alnwick, closed in 1968, and now has one of the only operational signal boxes on the northern stretch of the East Coast Main Line. Running alongside the Northumbrian coastline, the storm soon became evident, with the huge amounts of leaves and other debris being blown past the window on our approach to Berwick via the magnificent Royal Border Bridge. And with Berwick being our last station call in England, from here the line up to Edinburgh had a 50-mile-an-hour speed restriction imposed due to the high winds, giving us the rare opportunity to enjoy the stunning coastal views at a slightly slower and more relaxing pace. have reached Edinburgh at Waverley about half an hour late, so the plan is now to head over to the bus station, and we've booked the M90 coach service up to Inverness because they are still running. Obviously the trains aren't, so that should get us up to Inverness by 6 o'clock, but we'll just have to see how the rest of the journey goes. We've made it onto the M90 coach. It leaves at 2:15 and we've managed to get the front seats, so it should be a really nice journey up to Inverness. I think the Forth road bridge is shut due to the high winds, but we're going to be diverting via Stirling instead, so it shouldn't take too much longer than planned, and we're due to arrive at 6 o'clock, so 2 hours earlier than originally expected. So with departure bang on time at 2:15, our CityLink coach service reversed off the stand at Edinburgh bus station to begin the nearly 4-hour journey through the Highlands to Inverness. This M90 service up to Inverness operates roughly every hour throughout the day from both Glasgow and Edinburgh, stopping at various points such as Perth, Pitlochry, Dalwhinnie and Aviemore along the way. Of course, with no trains operating along the Highlands main line as planned, the coach was an absolute lifesaver, offering a similar journey time to the train, as well as extremely comfortable seats with recline, and most importantly, a power supply. Almost 2 hours into the journey and approaching the halfway point at Perth, everything seemed to be going surprisingly to plan. However, as we pulled into the park and ride, we were given the news that the A9 up to Inverness had been closed, with no vehicle traffic permitted to continue north. With that, we were all disembarked from the coach, a devastating blow to our journey, which up until this point had been going surprisingly well. So with that unexpected twist and a final scenic trip through the Highlands, our long journey through Storm Floris finally came to an end in Inverness. What started as a simple train journey turned into an adventure across the country, and definitely one I won't be forgetting anytime soon. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you for the next and hopefully slightly less chaotic adventure.